Now, let's also get outside of the BCS for a minute, and we just also got some news that Maryland is thinking about joining the Big Ten right now. Your thoughts about that, Rob?
I really hate these conference alignments due to the sole fact of it kills good basketball, man.
Hmm.
With Maryland, Maryland's been a great basketball team in the ACC, and now they're going to the Big Ten. I just hate these conference realignments because, I mean, the bigger picture, I mean, the football program see it as a win, but
Hmm.
when you have a team that's known as a basketball school going like, I mean, just going away like that, it hurts. It hurts the game, man. It hurts the fan. But the Big East tournament is not going to be the same when you have schools like Syracuse that, um, what's another, that was another Big East school that was thinking
Pitt,
about leaving.
Pittsburgh,
Help me out, Lamar. Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, good. Syracuse, thinking about leaving, joining championship to the Big Ten. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it in terms of basketball because when it comes to basketball, those rivalries are just so pure. And I mean, let's be honest. A lot of these schools aren't football schools per se, like
Hmm.
Maryland and Wake Forest and schools like that. They're not really football schools per se. They're more known for basketball programs, and it just hurts some of it hurts some of the conferences doing basketball. That's just my take on it.
And I have a good feeling that a lot of people, and myself included, really share the same take about that because you hate to see some of the rivalries go away for basketball and even well for basketball, football, or any other sport as well because one of the casualties of seeing Texas A&M leaving the SEC was we weren't going to get the chance to see Texas and A&M play against each other. Possibly not anymore for the foreseeable future. Now, look at it as a couple of the bold projections right now. It is a good possibility that both of these teams are good enough to probably see themselves playing like the Cotton Bowl or something, and that would really help out a whole lot. But not seeing those games in the schedule, that's just like it's just disheartening. It just feels like a piece of nostalgia, bragging rights, all of that different type of stuff. It just goes away. And the thing I see about Maryland leaving the ACC is of course they get a chance to get into a pretty good basketball conference that is a little bit a slower basketball conference but still a good basketball conference because you still got Michigan State, Ohio State's still pretty good, Wisconsin's still pretty good, Michigan's up there as well. But what you have to take away from Maryland is that those rivalries that they had with Duke and North Carolina, and especially in the 2000s when Maryland and Duke, that was kind of like the biggest game in the schedule.
Yeah, and yeah, like that's the ACC classic, you know.
Hmm.
And it's just hard. A lot of this is paper chasing, money grabs, and you know, uh, TV contracts and things like that. And it just takes away from the other side of the game. The rivalry, the bragging rights, like you said, nostalgia. It just, I don't know. I just really don't like this. Call me, an old head. Call me a person that doesn't like change, but
Hmm.
I just hate to see this happen.
And me,
So,
and
but
me,
soon you're gonna have, with Duke leaving the ACT and going to the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or something. It's crazy.
right, and me too. And also, and just to also add too, from regional standpoint as well. I mean, it also changes everything because I mean now you got with the Big East here, especially in football here. In 2013, you got Boise State going to be in the Big East, and they're nowhere near the East Coast. I mean, San Diego State is in the Big East, but yet they're nowhere near the East Coast. So I mean, that's just it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit, you know.
Right.
Well, all right, we'll go ahead and take ourselves a little break for a minute. We'll be talking about the NBA right next, and then we'll have our guest. This is the Gafford and Brown Show. We will be right back in 30 seconds. All right, and we're back with the Gafford and Brown Show. We were just talking about about the NCAA football and actually the NCAA in itself. Now let's just talk about some of the NBA right now. And my goodness, right now we've seen. I'm looking at the power rankings here in the on ESPN.com. Memphis had a very good week, and right now they're the number one team in the is in ESPN's power rankings. Your thoughts about that, Rob?
Oh man, the Grizz are one of my favorite teams to watch. They've been one of my favorite teams to watch for a while. And, I like what they have there. Jerry West has done a good job of building that team up. Oh man, Rudy Gay, I can't say how much he's made their leap. Their leap from a guy who we always said had potential to actually being, of that potential now. He's there now. No more, Rudy Gay is going to be, he's going to make it this year. He's going, 2 years from now, he's going to be there. Rudy Gay is there now. And hopefully, he can build off of that as it goes into the postseason. Because last year, during that Clipper series, we just saw a massive meltdown by Memphis. I think they should have won that series, but, they let up on the Clippers. You can't ever let up on a Chris Paul team. And they lost their heartbreaking series in 7 games. And, I think they took that, and now they seem to be in a really good place. You see Randolph and Gafford in the middle. Mike Conley, a guy who's so underrated, comes to work every night, does his job, keeps his head down. They had Jared Bayless, who's coming out. He's really, really showing up the O.J. Mayo loss because he's really inserted well. Tony Allen's getting more minutes. They're just a really good team. They've been a really good team for a while. That's just that people haven't really been noticing them. They haven't been getting that prime time exposure. But you gotta give them props. Especially taking out the Knicks. The Knicks were one of the hottest teams in the league. Memphis beat them pretty convincingly. We gotta give them props for what they do. And right now they deserve to be number one.
And I have to agree. And I mean, you saw them. They just knocked down the previously undefeated Knicks, who are number two. And we'll probably talk about them a little bit about them probably after this later. But we're looking at this, and you saw last year. Many people were actually wondering, can Rudy Gay and Zach Randolph coexist because they had such a good run 2 years ago, where they took the Thunder to 7 games, and that was with Rudy Gay being out and injured. But now they found a good way for them to mesh, and this is just a really scary team. And they're a scrappy team. They're a good team. They play defense. They got 2 very good players that are in the front court, and Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol, who really play below the rim. Rudy Gay's your big time scorer. You got a good point guard and Mike Conley. I mean, and Tony Allen, very good defensive player. They play a great style of basketball, and looking at them possibly over the last two games, you could also see that they're not going to take any mess from nobody. I mean,
no, not at all. Like that Thunder game or that Thunder series from 2 years ago showed you that this is a team that's very scrappy. Kendrick Perkins and Zach Randolph altercation that I heard, even went further into the locker room. This is a Memphis team that's not going to back down, and you have to love that about them. They got that. It might be premature, but they got that Detroit Pistons 04 flag. They got that roughness to them. So I like them. I like their chances in the playoffs. I could see them sneaking into the Western Conference Finals. Although I think teams like Oklahoma and the Lakers might come back into the fold and provide some competition for them. Right now they're high. We'll just see as the season progresses. The biggest thing about Memphis is Rudy Gay in the fourth quarter. Can he do what he's doing now in the postseason? That's just my biggest question.
And I think that's going to be everybody's biggest question as well, because as I just touched on too, about that seeing him against the Clippers, he kind of had a couple of meltdowns a little bit by himself, where he didn't
Yeah,
take
right.
over right in the fourth quarter, and so he really it really is going to be remain to be seen. But right now, they're in the right track for them to do that. Looking at some more of the power rankings, you also got New York at number two, the Knicks at number two, the Clippers at three, the Spurs at four, the Heat at five. But one of the things that's really standing out to me right now, the Lakers are still a top 10 team, and they have them at number seven. Your thoughts about that, Rob?
I understand that. Because this Lakers team is all about the playoffs to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, the regular season is so meaningless for the Lakers. The regular season is a trial run. It's the time for the Lakers to get some chemistry bonds, get familiar with the new coaching system. Because right now, we know the Lakers will get to the playoffs.
Right.
We don't know what seed, but they're going to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what matters most. We want to see how they do in the playoffs. And more than likely, they're going to finish probably around 1 through 5 in the playoff season. So, they're going to get a solid matchup. But right now, we're just anxious for the playoffs. Kobe had a triple-double last night,
Yes.
So, they're starting to get the Nets offensively, score more points, move the ball up and down. See Nets still out. What is his timetable?
I don't know exactly, actually, to be honest with you.
We're waiting on Nash to come back to
Right.
lead the show. So, things are coming along for LA. I can't be mad at seven ranking right now. I'll say that's fair.
Mm-hmm. And I actually see it right now that they say that he is potentially out for another week. And right now, it seems like the Lakers have really bounced back from that 1-4 start. They got themselves 4 wins over their last 5 games. Close loss to San Antonio, which is kind of understandable because those are the Spurs, and the Spurs are a very good team. But right now, I mean, after getting rid of Mike Brown, they've been scoring the ball a whole lot more. I mean, 100 points in each and over 100 points in each and every single one of their wins. They got themselves a pretty good stretch for the next 5 games, which includes road games with, let's see, Memphis and Dallas as well, and those are coming to back-to-back games. So, like you said though, the Lakers is just going to be about pretty much it's pretty much about the postseason for them and all of that. Also, I just before we get on with our guests too, I just also wanted to talk about a little bit about the Royce White situation. Is now getting to be a little bit more of a he said, she said. He said, the organization said, and him saying about this one thing too. As we may have known that he still is trying to overcome his fear of flying. What are your thoughts about that?
It has become quite the ordeal. Love Lawrence White, I would say. Love his game. A big man that can pass the ball, score the ball so well, lead the ball, of course. But man, it's turned into something that I didn't expect. All I can say is, I bet you should wish they had him in their heart deal. Because man, it's not turning out to be very good. You feel bad for the Rockets because the Rockets took him high. They put a lot of faith in him. They had he was going to be implemented to the system and get minutes, but right now it's turned into this big blow up. I hope he gets counseling. I hope he gets the help that he needs to get over his anxiety. But it's kind of unfair to the team. This is the one time why I take the team side actually of this because Royce White he's fairly grown. He's an adult, and he knows that in the NBA there's going to be a lot of flying.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of back-to-back games. You might not get any breaks in between. You're going to be traveling a lot. So he knew of those possibilities. So my whole thought process is why even go to the draft? Why not just graduate and get a real job or go overseas or get a job? Go to the NBDL or something. it just shows me because he's not a stranger to this concept of flying. It was bound to happen. You know, NBA teams don't really take charge, but so I feel for him, but at the same time,